What is up, Savages? Thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone is doing all right tonight. I am doing okay. Thanks for asking. Tonight, I wanted to keep covering a project that's been asked about a lot. There's been several people that have hit me up and on Twitter and stuff like that, saying that I should cover this or that I should add it to my top 10 list and all that stuff. And we are talking about RYO. So let's get to it. All right, so before we get started, let's take a real quick look at what I am mining. I just turned off the rigs. I was playing around with RYO a little bit on the NVIDIA rig, which is what we're going to cover tonight. I figured we would go with, because we did RYO on HiveOS and AMD last night, we'll do RYO on HiveOS and NVIDIA tonight. So I was playing around with it a little bit, and so I'm mining. Currently, I was mining Bitcash on my NVIDIA rig, but right now I'm mining RYO, of course. This rig is off, actually, right now. Both of these are off. And then the AMD rig, I am mining CCX still. And then on the co-owned rigs, they're still going, although I've got one GPU that I had to take down because it was, both the fans are bad on it. So I have to get those replaced, and eventually, I already have them on order and stuff, so eventually maybe I'll do a video on replacing those fans. That might be kind of interesting. I think there's plenty of videos out there on that already, but we'll check that out and see what's going on. Let's see. So these are both mining Conceal as well, CCX, and have been since March, steady since March. Before that, it was kind of off and on between Conceal and some other things. And doing pretty well over there, so I'm proud of these rigs, although this one's giving me some problems. Those fans, this has got the Gigabyte Aorus RX 580, and I've had, this will be the fourth fan that's been bad, so I'm thinking that they are just not designed to run 24/7. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at. I don't know if they fixed it on later versions, like maybe if it's a design problem or something. Maybe the newer ones don't have this problem, but if you're looking for mining GPUs, I would not recommend AMD Gigabyte or a Gigabyte Aorus RX 580. At least from the lot that I got mine, which was about a year ago. So I just would not recommend them. I think that they just don't hold up to, not abuse. It's not that they're abuse, but the fans are running 24/7. This rig down here has ASRock Phantom Gaming X cheaper GPUs, RX 580s, and they're solid. I mean, those things are just going crazy. So no problem there. All right. Before I get off on a total tangent here, not really interacting with the chat because I kind of want to get going with the actual stream here. But let me pop in there and see who all's in here. What's going on? What's up, RYO Currency Board? Yeah, there's a lot of, I think there's going to be a lot of people associated with RYO in here. That's cool because they'll be able to answer questions and things like that. So that is super handy. I appreciate it. If my machine does lock up and you lose me, I will be right back. I'll just reboot and start the stream over. I'm going to knock on wood here. It hasn't locked up the last few nights, so I think, I don't know if maybe I figured it out or not, but it's like this troubleshooting that I've been doing for what seems like months now. What seems like a year, actually, but it's not quite that long. But if it does crash, then I will be back. All right, so unless we're at the very end. If we're at the very end, then I probably won't fire it up. But let's get back to RYO. Now, last night like I was saying earlier, we mined it on HiveOS and AMD. Tonight we're going to go HiveOS and NVIDIA. And probably going to turn this into RYO week. Probably every night is probably going to be RYO. They've got a lot of things that I can cover that are dealing with their project, like a solo mining pool in their wallet, some cool stuff. So I think that I'm probably going to just make this RYO week, kind of like I did Bitcash last week, and we'll just go from there. So you guys know that I'm a big fan of privacy coins. And RYO is quickly, now I kind of steered away from RYO just because I don't want to get into why, but I'll just say that at first, whenever I first started investigating it, back when I wasn't confident in the whole project as a whole, but that was many months ago. But I think that things are looking in the right direction now, so I'm confident that this is going to be a long-term good project. You guys know I'm a big fan of privacy coins. This one's actually becoming my favorite. Not my favorite, not top favorite, but a favorite. And that's just being honest. It's described as a Monero fork, a Monero code fork that focuses on extreme levels of development, led by some complete savage devs, FireIce UK and PsychoCrypt. I believe they came over from Monero, and they achieved the highest levels of anonymity using a goal of 100 ring signatures, with 25 being the current default. Now, I covered all this stuff last night too. I'm just going to breeze over it real quick, just in case this is like the first video that someone has seen, this week or whatever. So those devs, FireIce UK and PsychoCrypt, have also contributed quite a bit to the crypto space by developing some common things that you've probably heard of before, like the XMR stack mining software and the Kryptonite heavy algorithm. Both are huge contributions to the space, and they should be appreciated for that. RYO is a continuation of the original Sumo coin chain after Sumo hard forked back to ASIC in June of 2018. But if you follow Sumo at all, you know that they're now back on Kryptonite R, along with Monero, I believe, still, right? So I'm not going to go through this whole thing here, but because I did kind of last night. But their website is ryocurrency.com. I'll put that'll probably be in the links in the description. It's definitely in the the description from last night. So just keep that in mind as you check them out. So let's look at CoinMarketCap. Let's find out what's going on over here. Bitcoin's getting crushed along with all the alts. I don't normally do this, but I just wanted to take a quick look at it. Okay, so normally I'm going to I just want to go to RYO and see what's going on with them. Down a little bit today, 7% isn't too much for a crypto. Super low volume. I don't know if that's accurate. That's kind of like crazy. That's crazy low volume. Let's see here. I think there's a way. Where did I see that? I want to say it was maybe on their website. They have some information about the actual volume. Or where did we see that? We saw it on, oh, that's right. It was on miningpoolstats.stream. I wonder if that's accurate. As far as their volume per exchange right here. Yeah, that's super low volume. Wow. Okay. Well, maybe they'll get back to being active here, but that's really low. All right, let's check out what to mine also. And last night, I wanted to point this out because I made a huge mistake. I was kind of rushing at the end. It's definitely my fault. I should have noticed this, but I was ending the stream and then I went back to what to mine. I was like, oh, we need to check out the profitability and stuff. And I think that I didn't select CN GPU, which is their algorithm, right, for RYO. So whenever I did the calculations, of course RYO didn't show up because it wasn't even selected as the proper algorithm wasn't selected. So what I'll do is the rig that we're going to use tonight, the rig name is Kessel. It's got two 1070s, two 1070 Ti's, and two 1080s. And I'm going to select CN GPU. You can see right here it's not selected, so I'm going to select that and then calculate. And then I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but this is kind of cool what this particular algorithm does and the capabilities that it gives you. Don't see them yet. There they are. All right, so not entirely profitable according to this, but this is kind of weird because I don't know if this is pulling the wrong information or what. Because if you go to their actual website, it's quite a bit different. If you go to RYO Blocks, pools.ryoblocks.com, and you go to their profitability calculator with this rig, because I was before the stream I was getting about 7.7K, and it's looking like it would get 100 RYO a day roughly, which translates to $3 a day basically before power. But keep in mind, again, I'm, because it's a hobby, and I'm not like doing this and paying overhead and paying employees and paying rent and all that stuff. My electric cost just comes out of my pocket, and I just look at that as the investment, right? So, the how much you're going to make each day, that profitability really, to me, isn't really that important. What I'm more concerned with is how many am I going to accumulate a day, and what do I think they're actually going to be worth in the future, right? So that's that's got to do with the speculation, the spec mining, right? So we're going to mine this today in hopes of, in the future this thing goes to the moon, and we're mining 100 a day. If it turns out to be $1 each per coin, then these days that I mined 100 a day, I was actually mining at $100 a day, right? So that's just the way I look at it. I don't know if that's right or wrong or how everybody else looks at it, but that's how I look at it. And if I was running a real business and actually had overhead and rent, then obviously things would be different. But that's just the way I look at it. All right, my little rant there. So go back to what to mine, and like given this, let's see what the hash rate they think I'm supposed to be getting. Okay, so see, all right, so clearly this thing is not calculating accurately but it could just be because of this particular algorithm, because I'm going to get into it. Let me get back on track here. I'm kind of rambling here. So we'll come back to all these profitability calculators in a little while once we get to mining and stuff like that. Last night we mined RYO on AMD GPUs and HiveOS. I also told you last night that this is a pretty intense project, and I'm still trying to learn all the details. I have to give a real big shout out to RYO team contributor RYO. I don't know if it's RYO or RYO. I think he might be in the chat here. Is that RYO currency? Is that RYO? Are you the same person, or is that a different person? Let me know in the chat over there. All right, so yeah, hit me up in the chat. Let me know if that. Okay, so that's you. All right, so RYO currency is also at RYO. RYO RU on Twitter, right? So RYO currency in the chat here is RYO RU on Twitter. So we'll come over here and I'll show you his Twitter real quick. So follow him if you're interested in RYO currency type stuff. He is a contributor to the project, and it's greatly appreciated how he was helping me around a little bit today. He spent some time talking to me on direct messaging and stuff, so really appreciate that. They pointed out some things, obviously, that I missed, that I've already kind of talked about, that I missed on the stream last night. So we're going to get more into that in a little bit more about the project, the actual RYO project, just on the mining side, because this is a mining channel and we're kind of dealing with mining. It was originally RYO was originally based on, or originally used Kryptonite Heavy, but recently changed to Kryptonite GPU, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a little bit, which is an algo that is FPGA, ASIC, and botnet resistant because it focuses on core and power, right? So those are the two key components. No memory is really used, or you don't have to worry about your memory settings hardly at all on any of the GPUs. It's based almost predominantly on core and power settings. It's the really awesome thing about this algo is that it works really well on old and new AMD and NVIDIA GPUs, almost equally, even with low amounts of memory, because it uses the universal floating point math, which is not really typical for normal hashing algos, but it uses the core processor of the GPU. Most of the computations are there. So if you have those 3 gig NVIDIA GPUs laying around that can or actually 3 gig AMD GPUs, or any low memory GPUs laying around that no longer mine ETH, for example, you can now point them at RYO. The hash rate is tied to the actual power of the GPU and its core instead of the memory, like I was saying earlier. Let's see, GPU on its core instead of the memory. So you can't easily create a miner that optimizes or hacks the GPUs with large amounts of memory for better hash rates. And in fact, it doesn't really use memory at all. And this helps level the field between all the commodity hardware that's out there, right? So whether it's brand new off the shelf or dusty from being in the closet for a year, you can probably boot it up and start mining and be pretty efficient with some really good power and core clock settings, right? It's important to note, though, that if you don't tune things properly, the clocks and the power, then it can kind of run away from you and consume a large amount of power. And possibly, you don't want to damage your GPU, but you got to really keep an eye on it because it can really start running away with the power. And I'm sure that, I'm not watching the chat, but I'm sure that RYO currency in the chat there is, hopefully he's talking about all this as well, laying it out there for you. Last night I also said that it apparently uses about 75% more power, it being CN GPU algo, but 75% more power than Kryptonite Heavy, but that seems to be a little bit inaccurate once you get done with the undervolting and things like that. You can really get that hash per watt, to a real sweet spot in there, which is kind of neat. And for all you folks that like to, kind of tinker with your rigs and optimize your rigs, I'm not really one of those. I've said this a bunch of times. Once it gets efficient and it gets about what the hash rate it's supposed to be, I let that thing eat, man. I do not go in there and keep messing with it to get 0.01 more hashes out of it. I just don't do that. I don't think that it's just not worth my time. Okay, but if you are, then this is kind of like one of those algos that small little tweaks can get you large amounts of either increase or decrease your watts per hash, or increase your hash rate a little bit. So this is kind of like a tweaker's kind of algorithm is what I would say about it. I would describe it as that. As far as the mining and blockchain specs goes, it has a 4-minute block time. The difficulty adjusts each block. You can kind of see that whenever you go to what to mine. If you go to what to mine and go to coins and then look up RYO, you'll see like a little bit of a variance on the block time. You can see right here, last night it was 4 minutes 15 seconds. Tonight it's 4 minutes 8 seconds. So just keep that in mind. And it changes, the block reward is 56.28 right now, and that changes every 6 months. It adjusts based on, I think they have a plateau curve, I believe, of rewards. I think that's on their website. Let's go over here and see here. I don't know exactly where it would be. Yep, I should have looked that up before. I don't know. I remember seeing it in here though. Here we go. Maybe the Explorer. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I saw a graph of it. Let me see if you're telling me in here. In the fact, okay. It's like, come on, dude. Yeah, probably everything's in the fact. That's true. Forgot about that. Yeah, here we go. So here's the RYO block reward by calendar year, plateau emission. I think it's kind of a cool scheme here. I think it's kind of nice that they did it like that. And then as far as the total supply, there's 88,188,888 coins in 20 years, I believe is the way it's supposed to work. And 8 million of that is a dev fund, and that's emitted over 6 years, or 263,000 per year, I think is the way it works. Something like that. I'm not really into all the economics, although it's super important, you know, to know what's going on behind the scenes. And something's really cool that RYO currency is working on. I think that this is super cool. A huge contribution to the crypto space with regards to RYO is he has done a lot of testing on different GPUs and optimized based on hashes per watt and things like that. There are a ton of GPUs in here, and you can see that they're not new, right? I mean, some of these are super old, and you can actually get pretty good hash rates off of these older cards. But for our case, we were using RX 580 8 gig, and this didn't stand out to me last night, but there's this little link here under the reference link. So if you click on that right there, it'll take you to more information, right? And I believe that, correct me if I'm wrong here, RYO currency, that if you want this setting right here, the green one, is the most optimized. Is that correct? It looks like it gets 12.5 hashes per watt. So you would give it a core voltage of 775 to 787, 1100 core, 1000 mem, and you should get about 715 off of an RX 580. If I'm reading this right, I don't use Windows as to mining, to mine very much. So, yeah, I'm just not too familiar with the tools here. You know, I use HiveOS and Simple Mining almost since the very beginning. I think I probably fired up a Windows miner maybe once or twice. So, yeah, I think that's right. Let me check the chat real quick. Okay, great. Yeah, I think I found some that work okay on mine. Although I don't believe I went that low on the core voltage, but that's something I can look at. You know, if I was going to mine, steady, then I would definitely look at charts like this. I just wanted to point out that he's done a heck of a lot of work on this, so just keep that in mind. I'll put these links in the description. RYO currency, if I forget to do that, just shoot me a direct message or something and say, hey, don't forget to put those links in there. I do have them copied already, so I should remember, but you know. All right, so that is AMD, and then he also has the configs, hash rates and configs for NVIDIA, which is what we're going to be messing with tonight, all the way back to GT 640s several years ago. And again, he's got links in here, reference links. So let's just look at real quick. We'll look at a 1070. I believe that these little asterisks are the asterisks here. I think that means, yeah, like if you see 3, then that means that he actually, RYO was the one that was actually doing the testing on it. So you can trust those, those settings a lot, because he actually did the testing himself and not, grabbed it offline, or someone else, fed him the information. So just keep that in mind. The 3 asterisks here, or the 3 stars, are good. All right, so let's look at a 1070 to start, because I have my NVIDIA rig here. It looks like this. This is the hardware for it. So it's 2 1070s, 2 1070 Ti's, and 2 1080s. Pretty good little mix. And so we'll just start with a 1070, just kind of look at what's going on over there. And I'm guessing, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if my machine's going to freak out at me zooming up, but it looks like 50% power, negative 150 on the core, 0 on the memory. Because like I was saying, look at the memory settings. They're all 0, right? Because it doesn't use it. So there's no reason to put an overclock on it. Although I have some on mine only because I was playing around. So, it definitely didn't make a difference. So, Whenever I fire my rig back up, you'll see that there are some in there. So yeah, so this is 11.1 hashes per watt, so that's a good setting. So yeah, these are, like you said, these are just recommended settings. And again, I'll put those links to those websites in the description. All right, so let's head over here to HiveOS, and this is the NVIDIA rig. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on because it's off now because I was doing the stream, and it is kind of loud, so you'll hear that fire up. And while that is coming up, I will go ahead and check out the chat. Let me, actually I gotta switch this over to the other monitor real quick. Actually came up pretty fast. Yeah, that's what I was kind of discovering. Like, I put a lot of OC on there on the core one time, and I got like 8.2K, but it was consuming quite a bit of power, you know. So I was like, I don't really want to do that, you know. It just didn't seem very efficient whenever I was goofing around with it. All right, so I think, let me double check this here real quick. Yep, it's up and running. Got accepted shares. So let me do a refresh here. Yeah, it's got 7.8. So here's what it looks like. Now, I don't know why, normally right here, it could just be this miner, but normally right here you would see a hash rate, but it doesn't have that on here for some reason. I think it's just the miner itself. It's probably just something that's missing. Feeding it into HiveOS. But these are the, oh wow, I messed that up. I got a 0 in there. But these are the current settings that I have. Just gonna have to restart that. Or redo the OC anyway. And once I know that's hot right now, but once the fans start kicking in and everything, it should cool off pretty quick. Watch me burn up a GPU live. That wouldn't be good. Now last night we went through and we created a wallet. We started, you know, from the very beginning. Here's what the documentation looks like. I'll put this up here for a minute. You probably need to go back through these real quick and see what is going on today. Let's go with, we checked CoinMarketCap. I think they were down a little bit, right? So we'll go, yeah, it's down a little bit of a change since yesterday. Market cap dropped quite a bit. And the rank, 939, dropped a little bit. Everything else is the same. All right, so let's go check this out here. Alright, so they all cooled off pretty well. It's a little warm in here, so you know, these temperatures, and I don't have the fans like set to full blast all the time, so it's just a little bit warm in this room. It's actually 91 degrees in here right now because I've got the door shut and all the fans off and stuff, so it's kind of burning up. See, the things I go through for you guys, right? Sitting here sweating, golly. Alright, so yeah, last night we did a wallet. If you want to see how to do that in HiveOS, check out last night's video. And then we did a flight sheet. We created a flight sheet also, which I'm actually using that same flight sheet for NVIDIA, the same one that I was using for AMD, because it uses the same miner, the XMR stack. So it was a pretty easy deal there. Didn't have to change much. But as far as what the flight sheet looks like, let me go into that. We are doing minor rocks as the pool. So let me see what we're actually getting at the wall here. So at the wall, it's 806 watts. Let's see, so you bring this up here. So you can see the Kessel rig right here. I'm going to click on that guy. And then power management down there. So that's what it looks like right now. And that's 806 watts at the wall. Alright, so as far as my flight sheet goes, this is what it looks like whenever you click on Setup Miner Config. We can use these variables because, you know, they're already included in HiveOS, so we don't have to worry about putting the pool in there. And then the currency is Kryptonite GPU. I think you might be able to change this to like CN GPU or something, but that's what it put in there for me. So I just left it. And then the worker name or the password is W equals worker name, and that's a variable for the actual name of the rig, which in this case it is, the worker name is SavageMine Kessel NVIDIA. So if we go out to the pool that we're mining to, let me grab my address here real quick. Why did that go away? Weird. So let me go to home. All right, here we go. So where was I? What was I going to do? Now I forget. Why do I have two of them open now? All right. I don't know what's going on. My computer's freaking out. All right, what was I doing? Oh yeah, my address. All right, let me get my address here. We're gonna go out to the pool, and the pool is RYO.miner.rocks, and we're gonna go, I think down here at the bottom. We're gonna throw in our address down here, which it's already in there, but I'm gonna do it again. And then we're gonna go look up, and we should see some hash rate here. 8.78K, a little higher than what it actually is showing on HiveOS, I think. A little bit more. But you can see down here, this is the name of the rig. So that's how the pool knew the name of the rig is from that password field where we put W equals worker name, and then that variable is in there. So All right, so we are definitely successfully mining at this point. Only for a few minutes, but it looks like it's pretty stable. It's not running hot. Low load average, low wattage. Sitting at about 800 watts up there right now. So we are rocking. All right, so let's head over to the pool again. Actually, let's go to their website, the RYO blocks, pools.ryoblocks.com, and use their profit calculator. So we know that we're getting about 7.774 or 7774 is what we're getting. So 7774. I have to click. I guess I don't have to click anything. It just calculates for me already. So it looks like the average for one day should be about 3. Yeah, see, 111. So it actually went up because we got a little bit more efficient on the hash rate there. So that's cool. And USD value, which obviously I don't care too much about, is 3.23. Miner setting. We're at RYO currency. What are you talking about? In HiveOS? Oh, okay. I'll show you that too. All right, so let's go back to the flight sheet. RYO RU wants to look at the flight sheet again, so we'll do that. Wants me to click on the version, right? It says there's an override. Config NVIDIA override, highlight I symbol. Okay. Are you pointing them to the XMR stack tuning guide? The link down there at the bottom? Yeah, if you want to get into all this, I would say this XMR stack tuning guide down here, just open that up and it'll talk about all this, all these different settings you can have down here. So I haven't gotten into it this much. Maybe that's something I can do. Maybe look at doing a whole video on these types of settings to maybe get a little bit more in depth. Maybe we'll do that. You know, I actually in the old days, whenever you used to have to manually dual thread XMR stack on an AMD, you know, I did a video like a really long time ago about that. I think it's this one right here. Dual thread AMD GPUs using XMR stack miner and simple mining. So yeah, in this video I actually go into that AMD.txt file and do some settings, but that's on AMD. But yeah, so it looks like that's similar, you know, types of stuff here. So, but you said on your actual over here you've got that same information. Is it right here? So you've got threads blocks, B factor, and B sleep. Okay. So you can use this information and compare it or translate it over to the flight sheet NVIDIA config right here and actually get more hashes according to RYO currency. Probably could, I would imagine, if he says so. So that's awesome. So that's good info as well. These guys really put a lot of effort into this. This is a lot of information. It's good to see this from devs, in my opinion. And the same thing for AMD, I would assume. It's all on the same page, it looks like. Well, 7 to 10% is pretty huge. Well, do you have to do one per GPU, or is it just one setting overall? I guess it would be based on each GPU, right? So you'd have an index, you'd have to bump up the index for each one. Yeah, so it's like whenever we had to tune the or do the dual threading, similar to that, where you have the index and you just increase the index for each GPU. So you start with 0, and in this case you would go 0 through. Let's see if we can do this real quick here. So for 0, for GPU 0. I don't have them memorized what order they are, so let me document this real quick because I need to go into worker, figure out which GPU is which. Do I have a pen? So 0 is TI, 1 is 1080, 2 is 1070. 3 1080, 4 is TI, and 5 is 1070. Okay, let's see here. So if we go to your chart here, you're going to say that the 1070 should have 8. Let's see. Let's start with the TI. 8, 110, 725. I don't even know. I can't see. See, I wish that. Is this an XMR stack thing where it doesn't show the hash rate right here? It shows it up here. And right here, but it doesn't break it down per GPU. Unless that's it right there. Is this hash rate? 6, 7. No. All right. Yeah, I'm not totally. HiveOS is still a little bit new to me, so I haven't gotten in here, and I don't know what each individual little thing is just yet. So, so bear with me. All right. So what I want to do if we're gonna mess with those settings like RYO currency was saying, then we will start with the TI. All right, I'm gonna have to bounce back and forth, it looks like. So, all right, let's go to the flight sheet. It does look like the hash rate, but it doesn't add up to 7.785. It would be more, right? Because it's 6. So, oh, maybe it does. Maybe, oh yeah. Maybe it is, right? Yeah, so maybe that is it. Okay, so that's the hash rate. I don't know if that's good. 1500, 1000, 1400. Sounds all right based on what I was seeing in your guides there, RYO currency. All right. Well, this is going to be fun. Let's mess around with this. So if we go to edit the flight sheet, set up miner config. Oh, let me document it too before we even start. Document what we're currently getting, which is 7.785. And then GPU 0 is getting 1.365. That would make sense because that's a TI, so 1.365. Although that doesn't really make a whole lot of difference because we know that this algorithm works well on old GPUs. So, all right, so let's see if we can bump up a 1070 Ti with those config overrides. So 0. So I guess it's 8 threads. I'm going to have to go and look at your list here. Yeah, you said it was threads, blocks, B factor, and B sleep. So it's 8 threads. All right. I hope y'all can see this. It's kind of small. And then the blocks were 110. And then B factor is 7. And then B sleep is 25. I think I got that right. No, I've got them backwards, don't I? B factor is 7 and B sleep is 25. Did I do that right? Yeah, okay. All right, and then index, this is GPU, this would be GPU 1 here, right? So for now, we're just going to take this out. Actually, we can't do that. We got to go. I'm going to take this out. I think I got to leave that comma in there. I think I can take it out like this. I think that's right. Let me know if that's right, RYO currency, or if that's going to give me a problem. I'm not a developer, so I don't know, but I think that that's right. Okay, so B sleep is 0 on Linux. Got it. I mean, we could probably just go ahead and go through the list and do all the GPUs. There's only 6, so I guess we can do this. Change the index to 1, then we'll go to the number 1. Our GPU 1 is a 1080. So we'll hop over to his list and look at 1080. Looks like it's 8, 120, 2, and 0, because he said that B sleep is 0 on Linux. So 8, 120, and 2. 120. And 2. All right. So that's a 1080. Then we're going to go with a 1070 as GPU 2. So we're going to change the index to 2. Hop over to his list, look at 1070, 890, 4, and 0. 890, 4, and 0. Alright, so that's all the different types of GPUs. So now I can just go with, I can copy 1, index 1. I should be able to do this. That's going to be index 3. GPU 3 is a 1080. And then 4 and 0 are the same. So I'll grab 0. So this is a 1070 Ti. Throw that in here. That's GPU 4. And then 5 is a 1070, and 1070 is the same as 2. So index 2 here. Alright, I think I did that right. RYO currency, check my work here, man. Let me know. I know doing the dual threading, there was something to do with this last comma right here. I don't know if maybe it was saying that there shouldn't be one up here, but it was in that first one, so I think that that's probably going to be okay. So let's go ahead and change that last index. Oh, yeah, wow, good catch. Good catch. Should be 5. Thanks, man. Yeah, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 GPUs total. Okay. Looks pretty solid to me. Now let's go, and I'm going to copy this real quick because I want to see. Actually, we got a kind of an idea because we got the 1. We went ahead and changed all of them, even though I was only documenting what one of them, the speed of one GPU was. We'll see what it is overall. And just apply changes, update all workers. I'm going to go ahead and click on that little guy there to force it, update it. Now it's got config going here, so that should be good. It says it changed, so we'll go back out to do a refresh here, see if we got any bump. Wow, we did. It went from 7.7. All right, so now let's check our wattage. So what we've learned is that you can definitely trust RYO currency because he is like dead on with this. He said that you could make these changes. I hope I'm using the right pronoun there. He, I think you're a he. We could make these changes, get a little bit more hash rate, and then not increase the power. And that's exactly what happened. You can see right there, it's still 800 watts. We're getting more hash rate. So that is solid freaking advice right there. That's awesome. That is awesome. See, I like little changes like that. Like, I think that change is worth it. You saw how long it took. It didn't really take that long. Bouncing back and forth between his reference and the configuration inside of the flight sheet, and then we gained 300K basically, right? Is that right? Yeah, 300K. So that's awesome. So that is very cool. It's a success. On all of them, RYO, or just on which one? On all the GPUs? Well, I don't have all day, man. I need to end this stream. We've been going for an hour almost. Let's see here. So leave the core alone. And then power to 60. We'll give it a shot. We were getting right at 8,000 total. Yeah, this is going to deal more with hashes per watt though, right? It's got to do with the total power used. Most likely here. That's what I'm guessing anyway. So it's 7.9. So yeah, it didn't go down. Hopefully these temps go down. And this is what I kind of ran into earlier whenever I was playing around with this. This is kind of what happened is I started dropping that power limit, and the GPU started running a lot hotter. I don't know if it's just mine GPUs or what, but it just I did experience this before, and that's why I actually bumped them up a little bit. I mean, they might cool off. It looks like they might, so I'll let it rock for a minute here. But we didn't really drop power, though. It's still 813 watts. What's up, Crypto Nuffy? Doing a little RYO stuff, man. A little fine tuning, courtesy of RYO currency. You want me to go to the overclocking templates tab. Is that right? 84? I mean, this is not what is getting the, you know, over to the actual GPUs, because I'm modifying it in the worker setting here, I guess, right? So all right, we are at an hour, another hour of RYO. We did a little bit of fine tuning. I think that's kind of cool, digging into it. You know, we went in there and did some configuration overrides courtesy of RYO currency. I really appreciate that. Super helpful. You know, I would imagine that their Discord, I think that their Discord is pretty busy. And I'm sure that they can help you out in there if you have any questions about, you know, anything to do with RYO. So be sure to check them out over there. Follow him, RYO Currency, on Twitter also. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And what else? Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. And I think that's it. Like this video, share it with your friends, and all that kind of cool stuff. All right. I'll have to check out this video from Crypto Nuffy. That'll be cool. Is it on YouTube already or just Twitch, Crypto Nuffy? All right, good night, man. I think I'm gonna head to bed as well. Got to get up for work and all that stuff. So, okay, so I'll check it out on YouTube over here. Yeah, here it is, right there. Boom. Yeah, we'll check that out. Hey, look, it's Crypto Nuffy. All right, don't hit me with a copyright strike. All right, man, I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody hanging out. That was really cool. Thanks so much to RYO Currency, RYO on Twitter, for helping me out with this. That was really nice, and I do appreciate that a lot. That's super helpful, and you saw how that little tweak, you know, with the config override got us about 300 more hashes. That's super neat. I think that's worth it. We didn't increase the power at all, the power usage at the wall, so that was really nice. Awesome stuff. The more I look into it, the more I like RYO. I mean, the algo is super cool. I gotta admit, it is really cool. The Kryptonite GPU, because it's exactly what it says. It's like GPU. It's like all GPUs, and it's so cool that it can work on older GPUs, low memory GPUs. I think that is important in our world of mining. You know, so I think it's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do more RYO videos this week, so I'll probably hit on the solo mining pool. I'll probably hit on maybe even quickly cover mining on simple mining as well, on AMD and NVIDIA. Not that it's really that much different, because it's not if you use XMR stack. So I'll probably just do one of those, even though it would apply to both. So I'll do that probably tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. And then maybe on Thursday I'll do some wallet stuff, and then on Friday maybe we'll do the solo mining pool and stuff like that. Got to do a little bit of research on that just to get a feel for it. Sometimes I'll just wing it, and I might do that again and just learn as I go. But yeah, just tune in tomorrow night, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, UTC -4, and all that stuff. and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for hanging out. This was awesome. You guys, I really appreciate it. You know, you guys coming in here and checking out this nonsense with me. So not the project nonsense, my nonsense. All right, so I am going to sign off here. I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. I really appreciate it. Stay savage.